Hello, thank you for joining me for another episode of Breadcrumbs. My name is Reginald Grant. I'm going to jump right into it. If you're not familiar with my channel, I talk about my dreams, my visions. I talk about unsolved murder cases and missing persons, share theories and how they might be relevant to some of the things that I may dream. So today I'm going to review two cases that I've spoken on my channel before. One would be the missing Dallas firefighter, retired Dallas firefighter, Michael Chambers, who went missing from a Quinlan, Texas Walmart, who was last seen alive in a surveillance video of a Quinlan, Texas Walmart in March of 2017. And then I'm going to review and share my theories about the unsolved murder mystery of Missy Beavers, who in the early mornings of April 2016 was found murdered inside a Midlothian church. So today, in March of 2017, Michael Chambers was last seen alive leaving a Quinlan, Texas Walmart. He hasn't been seen alive since then. In November of 2022, human remains were found in a remote wooded area off of US 287 east of the city of East Tawakoni. And in May of 2023, those remains were identified as 70-year-old retired Dallas firefighter Michael Chambers. So it has been roughly about 6 years, give or take, and since any word of his whereabouts have been mentioned or shared. So, all the crazy theories that were out there, and I sent a request to the Hunt County, Sheriff Office for information under the Open Records Act. So some of the things I wanted to know about the case was, can they determine the cause of death? What conditions were the bones? Any test results that were done? Fingerprints, footprints, tire markings of any foreign objects that were around those in that area, as well as could they determine how long those remains were out there? What about clothing, any foreign substance or articles on the remains or in the area, including the bike which was found with him. So interesting that that the bike was there, because as I previously stated, that someone in I guess the Polish Department authorities claimed that he rode his bike from his house, injured supposedly, to a bridge and jumped off into the water and killed himself. But anyway, we know that's not true. But having now discovered his remains, a lot of questions, some of the questions that I had was, really, how long have these been out here? Was it in a shallow grave? What percentage of his remains were found? Clothing, and was this a area that was frequented by hikers, campers, and so on and so forth? And I say that because over 6 years, if this is a path or an area that people frequent, that means possibly, which is what I believe, is that his remains were brought there after, a certain, I think that his body was buried somewhere else and moved to that particular location. That's just a theory of mine, because it wouldn't make any sense for all of a sudden, if this is an area that was frequented by people, hiking or camping, that all of a sudden the remains show up. But that being said, I'm still awaiting to hear back from the sheriff department or the coroners, and based on waiting for answers to the questions that I submitted to them. So as soon as I get those back, and maybe ask a few more questions, because I want to talk to, hopefully interview the coroner who did the examinations and tests and so on and so forth. But when I do, I'll be glad to be sure and share it with you. So the next case is the unsolved murder mystery of Missy Beavers in April of 2016. So hopefully you've watched the video. If you haven't, pull up the video from my channel, and you can see the person of interest in there. You can see his walk and what he had on and so on and so forth. Now, I think that this individual isn't a stranger. I also think that he's not from the area, and if I remember, if you reviewed it, I said that he's most likely Hispanic and someone who's possibly who's been arrested previously and has a slight mental defect. Now, part of that goes to the fact that he had on a fake police uniform, which he probably most likely made himself, and that sometimes people unconsciously do things that is a tale. It tells something about them as their history or events in their lives. So that's just my theory. But I also believe, based on a dream that I have, that this individual is from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that the car that he drove was stolen. In addition to that, I wondered why, and one of the things that I believe I read that she was killed with a hammer, and I wonder, well, why did he use a hammer, not a knife or gun, and so on and so forth. But for me, I think this guy, as a profession, was some type of mechanic, and he used his hands in his job. So these are, the theories that and the profile that I have for these individuals, and I intend to contact and share this with whoever the detective or the DA's office, and regards to the Missy Beavers case. Now, of course, they're not going to share, and then they're going to say yay, nay, and they're going to say, hey, yeah, ooh, hurrah. But we'll see what happens. I've done this before in other cases, and didn't receive such a positive response, but that comes with the territory sometimes, and I expect that. But anyway, I'm going to share with you now some of the words and phrases I hear in my dreams. I did that last time. I talked about the box that had what looked like a microchip on the corner of it, and I saw this microchip again in a woman's eye, and years ago, so I have no clue what that meant per se. And of course, there are words that I hear, don't quite understand what they what they mean particular, but sometimes it comes to me after a while. But let me go back to the to the Michael Chambers case, and explain something that I had, a dream that I had, and why I think it may be related to his particular case. In this dream that I had maybe a month or two ago, and in this dream, this man was digging up this other man's body, and he had my personal theory about this case, first of all, is that there were at least two individuals involved with his disappearance and his demise. Now, of course, that's just a theory, a working theory of mine, but I think it makes a little sense. But this particular dream that I had, this man was digging up had dug up the body of another man. And he, in looking at the pile that was near him and the body, it looked like it was cement. So my theory is that he was originally buried in cement. And then for some reason, one of the individuals went back and dug up his remains and then deposited them there. Maybe there was some possibility of his remains being discovered because of construction or this, that, and the other. Or maybe one individual said, I got to cover my own back, so let me, just in case things go south. But that's just I'm throwing that out there as a possible motive. But I honestly believe that he was buried somewhere else, and then they went and at least one individual, I believe, dug up his remains and moved them to another place where they were discovered. So, years ago, maybe 25, 30 years ago, I had this dream, and in this dream, I could see this. It looked like a driveway or cement, and there was a little anomaly in the cement. It was like, somebody, when they smoothed it out or whatever, left a little wrinkle in the cement, and that minute, and it, caught my attention. And then I saw this other thing, this was a few months ago, where I saw this concrete. Somebody had broken up, broken up concrete, dug up concrete, and I couldn't tell what it was. It looked like it was a curb or something, and possibly part of a driveway. But anyway, that sort of, I don't know how am I making sense of things. Those things sort of, I thought possibly were tied in together, even though I had a dream. One of the dreams was, 25, 30 years ago. But in another incident, I saw in what looked like to be someone redoing or doing a driveway where they had rebar laid down, and before they poured the cement. But that's just all I saw and noticed in this particular dream. And like I said, for me, it sort of ties in, whether it's right, correct, or related or not. That's just the way I sort of see it. But anyway, so I've covered those two cases, and of course, if you have any comment or questions, please let me know by emailing me. And I'm going to share with you just a little bit more. I hear these words and not particularly know what they mean, but I hear them. And one of the words that I heard was just a single word: box, salt, plastic, ugly. And there was nothing particular that I saw or noticed in any other dreams or visions that I've had that sort of connects or tie them or give them meaning to this point. But see what happens going forward. And a few other words that I've heard, phrases. You hear the word insurance and the word vacuum. No, not vacuum cleaning, but just vacuum. So that concludes another episode of Breadcrumbs. Thank you for tuning in. Please continue to follow me, share, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for your time. Please stay tuned for future episodes, and I'll see you back soon.